And good morning again, everyone. Saturday morning, January the 10th, 2026. Beautiful day, 710 KNUS. It's warming up. 45 the high, 55 Sunday, Monday, 60 and 61 on Tuesday. I hope it holds that when we hit the Motorcycle Expo coming on January 31st. Give me a second to do the right thing for Scott Schulz. And I've gotten to know Scott. He is the guy who runs many of these great motorcycle expos. Hey, Scotty, good morning, man. I know you're really busy. Take some time out, and welcome back to 710. Thanks for being on the show.
Hey, good morning, Peter. Thanks for having me on.
No, listen, for every biker, when you hit the deep, dark moments in winter, January 31st, everybody's edging, man, let's get out and ride. I've ridden a couple of times, but talk about, it's at the National Western, everybody, the Colorado Motorcycle Expo. Talk about what's going to happen for those 2 days, please.
All right, yeah, it's super exciting. This is our 48th year putting on this event, not our 48th year, but it's been going on for 48 years. And most of them, the majority now, at the National Western Complex, we always hold the event the weekend after stock show, so the animals move out and the motorcycles move in. Maybe a different kind of animal with them.
Yes.
But the biggest part of the event is a swap meet. That's how it started, and it really was, even though we're asked a lot of times, like, why are you doing a motorcycle event in the middle of winter? But local shops always thank us for making this happen because, like you said, the dead of winter, not a lot going on. And it's just everybody's itching to get back out there, so it's nice to come down and see what's going on. We got the swap meet. We have a lot of fun there too with some live music. The headliner band this year is Ryan, Chris, and the Rough Cuts, and they're amazing. If you haven't heard them before, definitely want to come and check that out. And I'm just putting the final touches on some stunt shows. We have the group of 3 professional riders coming out to do kind of a combination of FMX stunts with a ramp and airbag, and then also some on-the-ground Harley stunts where they just do some fun wheelies and burnouts and stuff like that. So we'll do
everything we like. Everything we like.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
There's
no doubt about it.
I've said to people about motorcycles and motorcycling and the culture and the lifestyle. Louis Armstrong said about jazz, if I have to explain it to you, you won't get it. And I think that's true. And for folks that, I mean, again, it's the 31st and then the next day, the 1st, and that's a Saturday and Sunday. I mean, it's just walking through is just the best part of it. And I have so many great friends. Brando, I'm going to enter with Brando and put my trike in it with Brando and the guys from Devil's Head, and then Summer Maurer. Summer's going to be there, and that's important. They had the worst of possible times. She lost her husband and Maurer's Motors, and they're going to be there. And just, I mean, the clubs are there, and you put a hell of a show on, man. And I just wanted to tell folks that if you ride, go see this. If you have never been to it, it really is worth your time. So it's at the again, the National Western Complex, and it starts at 9 o'clock in the morning on the 31st. Scott, it's going to be really a great show.
Well, thank you. I appreciate all the kind words, and you're absolutely right. And even if you don't ride, if you have any interest in seeing really cool motorcycles, the first thing you see when you walk in the door are tons of custom-built motorcycles from local builders, local riders.
Yeah.
We have the Iron Goddess show, which is an all-female show, which is really cool too. And last year we had 120 bikes in the show, and we're right on pace to have the same again this year. We do this really cool Vikla experience downstairs, just kind of dedicated to lowriders and the lowrider culture. And there's just some amazing motorcycles to see down there too.
I'll have you on next week as well. Plug some, again, continue to do this. But Scott, thanks, Bubba. And we have a lunch coming. I'm going to be away for a couple of days, and then I'll try and shoot for a lunch. And we'll go over this again.
Yeah.
But I'll call you, man.
That sounds good.
I'll
make
call
that
you.
happen.
You-
Perfect.
Be safe.
Well, thank you so
All right,
much for
brother.
having me on. I really appreciate
Quit
the
it.
support of the show.
Thank you, man. Be safe. Thanks. Bye.
Bet.
All right,
Thanks.
bye.
Thanks.
All right. Now we're back in open lines, and in the studio coming up will be Dr. Brian Jundep and looking for and Ellen Graham. And Ellen has a story that she wants to tell, so that's coming up as well. As we return, we're talking about two separate issues, but they cross over. One is what's taking place in Minneapolis. The other is Venezuela. Lines are jammed. Let's start with Grant in Conifer. Hey, brother, thanks for calling the show, and good morning.
Good morning, sir. How are we doing today?
I'm well, man. Thank you.
Good news. Just in reference to the shooting in Minnesota, it hurts the heart to see this stand on my side of the line versus the other side of the line. It's like the previous caller was talking about this nexus that we're at, this funnel that we're just, the toilet bowl that we're all found in with everything swinging and mixing around. And I think the shooting in Minnesota was more of an energy clash than a lot of technicalities. Who has jurisdiction, this and that. The officer placed himself in a highly questionable position, and there's not a law enforcement trainer that will tell you that is the place where you should put yourself. The two girls were acting like nasty little brats. You had these energies, this you're going to do what I say, F you, I'm not doing what you say. Yeah. And this is just going on nonstop to the point to where, I mean, did those shots have to come out of that gun? I don't think so. Did she make a decision that fatally ended her existence? Yes, she did. This is now just pushing people, it's this knife that just keeps going deeper and deeper.
And it will happen again. I watched all these different angles, and I listened to talk radio, people talking about, well, the tires were pointed this way or that way, or she's dead, and he shot her, and now what? So the demonstrations are going on all across the country.
Gave him the fuel.
Yeah. And let me read this one. This guy comes at me about stuff, but calls me simple-minded. Let me find it. No, it's not that one. I'll find it, but it said it's simple-minded to think that these demonstrations are against Trump. I'm not defending Donald Trump left, right, or center, but these demonstrations are about Donald Trump, and they're not about. They're using this as the excuse to go after Trump, whether you like Trump or not. That's what's going on.
Yeah, it's just fuel. It's the fuel that as soon as I opened that video, I went, oh, God, here we go.
Yeah.
That it hasn't happened is amazing before now, but there was just a little recklessness in that moment right there.
That's the home of George Floyd. It's the epicenter, and they're going to, and the mayor is, I've watched the mayor now a couple of times. The governor of Minnesota is absolutely, he's a mystery to me how he got that job. But, and of course he was Kamala Harris's VP. So, I mean, it's sad. The woman is dead. If you watch the video, she and her wife, they're edging them. They're in the street. It's called pimping. They're pimping them, and and
don't touch me.
Yeah, and calling him big boy and all that kind of stuff. And and they're bringing these kids in. They're paying them a big bonus, and they're giving them a short amount of training, and they're putting them in a very precarious place, and they're giving them a gun. And I mean, it's a recipe for disaster. And this notion of wearing a mask, hell, they're able to dox these guys, and they're able to track down where they live and where their kids go to school, and they walk in on them when they're having breakfast. And I mean, the whole thing is everybody's talking about a mask. Hell, I'd wear a mask if you were going to stick me out there. You know, my family's important. If if you didn't cross the line and come after my family, I wouldn't wear a mask. But I listened to Caldero's show, and no, no.
No, they're dead people walking. If it comes to that,
Yes.
they don't have a other choice in this day and age but to have that.
Yeah.
But that incident, that was probably justified.
Yeah, that's the question. Do you think the shooting was justified?
I think that first round was questionable. Him being in that position.
Yeah.
The rule of thumb in a shooting incident is you better know what's behind your target.
Yep.
And there could have been a child in the back
You
seat.
bet.
There was so much recklessness, and that
Yes.
second and third shot may get him in trouble because that was through the driver window.
I once agree. I agree with everything you just said. Everything you just said.
That sucks.
You're in the business, man. Thank you. Yeah, really good call. Really good call. Thank you. Be safe. We go next to, where do we go next? We're going Cap. Is it the Cap in Lakewood? Hey, Cap, you're on the show. Saturday morning. Good morning.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yep.
Yeah. Hello.
Go ahead.
I got you. Hello.
Where do we go next?
You're up.
Oh, okay.
All
Oh,
right.
hey.
Yeah, there we go.
Hey, is this Peter?
It is indeed. Thank you.
Hey, Peter. This is Cap. Good morning. I hope you're well.
I'm here. Yep, I am.
Yeah. Hey, man. I think with I forgot what your other subject is, but the Minnesota shooting, of course. Yeah, it is a tragedy that there's a life lost. I think, in my opinion, the very beginning, I would use one hyphenated word here that would describe how it all started, I think, and that's non-compliance. Because if I'm right, didn't they ask her to roll the window down so they could talk to her?
Oh, yeah. And then she...
Hey, roll the window down. So that's like, okay, that's lighting the fuse. It's already a really hot situation, It's already very emotionally driven. And the police officer, and I've had a police officer friend a long time ago. I don't really talk to him much anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But, having conversations with him back then, he described how, hey, man, it's really hard to make a 1/10 of a second decision.
Yeah.
And the way the video looks, those guys are hyped up too, the police officers. And I think he just made his own decision based upon what his training is, and it all starts from the non-compliance. I think
when you and they clearly were acting as protesters towards the ICE agents, and they were pimping them, and when her wife gets out of the car and starts calling him big boy, and they're jacking with them, and
the antagonizing,
and these kids, maybe they haven't had a lot of training. They got a bonus to sign. I don't know much about the ICE agent that shot. I mean, but you're in a situation where you got a mask and a helmet on, and and the first, I listened to the last caller, and he's right. The first shot may be justified, but you don't know if there's a little kid in the back, that kind of stuff. And then bang, bang, the side window shooting, that wasn't justified.
I agree, but again, put your mind inside of him. That all happened within probably 1 second, maybe a 1.5 seconds that he fires the second and the third shot, and that's all so quick. He's all hyped up, you know. And I can agree with you. If you fire your first shot, well, how do you know if you actually hit your target? And I can understand that, and that's probably why he pulled the trigger again. But shooting into the side, I can agree with that. That's pretty ridiculous once it starts taking off.
I mean, I mean, the shooting I don't think is going to be justified in the second and third round. I mean, he by this time, and this speaks, I think, to I mean, they're just too. They're coming to pull you. They're coming to protest you, and now across the country, thousands of demonstrations. They're anti-Trump demonstrations, is what they are.
Of course, yeah, I agree with you on that.
Yeah.
It's the ultimate goal to target Trump.
Yeah, they're not after. They're not after this young whoever he is shooter. They're after Trump.
My other point too is that anybody in my life, if I ever get in a discussion or a conference, some kind of, even heated, I don't want to argue with the other person that has a gun.
No.
If I don't have a gun and the other person has a gun
And a badge.
I don't want to create fire and heat and I don't want to stir up emotions because they have a gun.
Yeah,
You see what I'm saying? It's like,
sure.
so her not realizing, hey, this guy and the other guy standing next to my car, they both have guns. It's like, I don't have a gun. And that makes a huge difference. I don't want to stir up anything with somebody holding a gun.
Well, yeah.
And,
I mean, it is what you're talking about. It's plus they have a badge, and
yeah,
people don't want to believe that, but a badge and a gun. And
any problems with law enforcement, I see it just what I said it. It all starts with the compliance. And I've seen these videos of people get pulled over. In the beginning, they don't comply, and that's when it starts.
I listened to some of that in the Caldera show, and they call themselves sovereign citizens, and I'm not telling you, I don't have to give you a driver's license. I mean, they eventually end up, jacked up, and I don't understand, why you would want to do that and why you want to pull their wire. I mean,
the first thing that comes to my mind is because they've done something breaking the law and they're trying to keep it secret. They're trying to get away with it. So it's like, if you don't break the law, like if a cop pulls me over and I know I haven't broken the law, I'll give him everything. Ask me anything. Oh, here's my ID.
Let me read.
You want my insurance? Here. You want to take a picture of me? You want me to step out of the car? Sure. You want to check my car? There's nothing in there. If I don't break the law, I have nothing to hide. That's the point.
Yeah, but that was what was said, for instance, in McCarthyism. Well, I have nothing to hide. You can do that. You can't. I mean, the government, there's a line, and they can't cross it. But here, I'm getting a ton of things on the wall I got to read. Thank you.
Yep, very good
call.
I'll let you go, man.
Bubba, thanks, man. All right, everybody. 303-696-1971. And this is true, too. Both of those cops were hit by the car. But what do? I mean, there's a woman in that car, and you don't know who's in the car with her. And I gets back to, how short amount of time. Apparently, what I read was they're not getting the sufficient training. They're just being put out there to go. And we will see. Coming up in studio, Dr. Brian June, Deb and Ellen Graham. Next week, this is going to be just Bill Vickery and John Bandemere in studio together. It's going to be the best show probably of the next 5 years. But Bill Vickery Motorsports, John Bandemere, everybody knows John, in here Saturday together next week for 2 hours. 710 KNUS, Denver's talk station. Ready to pull the pin? Ready? Okay, let's do it.
Your 7-10 5-day forecast for this Saturday will have a lot of sun and temps will start to rebound. We'll have afternoon highs in the mid-40s with lows tonight, middle and upper 20s, could rise to the low 30s by Sunday morning. Then for Sunday, sunny, low to mid-50s to end the weekend with lows upper 20s. Monday and Tuesday, sunny to partly sunny, highs middle and upper 50s with lows in the upper 20s and lower 30s. I'm meteorologist Don Watzel in the 710 KNUS Weather Center.
Jam lines and a good morning, 710 KNUS 45 and sunny, 55 tomorrow, 60 on Monday. Brian Jundepp coming up, and Ellen Graham in studio next week. Bill Vickery and John Banamere. Wow. 710 KNUS. If you're planning a winter trip but don't want to buy a whole setup to ski with the kids, so maybe your beloved equipment just needs a little TLC, bunch of reasons, but Larson's is the answer. I always send people, listeners, to Larson Ski and Sport. I've represented John Marriott, his son Jack, and everybody, Paul, the gang that's out there, the undisputed champions of rentals and repair services. These are our guys. Larson's makes getting to the mountain easy, affordable with their great season rental package. When you got the little guys, you always rent, 'cause next year nothing fits. When it comes to repairs and tunes, certified techs are experts, and Dynastars and Solomon. I mean, all the ski brands and board brands and clothing and everything. John Larson, the owner of Marriott's, is just the best guy, and his son has become the guru of fitting boots. They carry all the newest skis and snowboards and high-quality insulated jackets, and don't waste your time driving to the mountains. Make your pit stop right off the interstate. So you're westbound on I-70, get off on the Kipling exit, come down the ramp, make a left, come right underneath I-70, come out the other side, look to your right, see a big wooden box store, Larson Ski and Sport. Same thing, you're coming down, get off the Kipling exit, just stay to your right, and you'll see them right on your right-hand side. 7 days a week. Tell them I sent you in. Larson Ski and Sport. Website is larsonsport.com. I'm going to take this call. This is Marie. Thank you for calling, and I jumped past all the other callers because of what Adam told me. Marie, welcome back to the show.
Well, thank you, Peter. I called for two reasons. The first is we need a definition of who's an American citizen and how they got to be there. You have a grandmother that was born in Ireland.
Yes.
I have a grandmother that was born in Slovakia. I'm an American citizen, although she never became, they wouldn't learn English. So my grandparents were not American citizens, but I am.
All right.
And how can I prove it?
Well, because of your birth. You have a birth certificate. You have everything that goes with it.
I know, but not everybody. But now he's talking about getting rid of that, if you're born in the States.
Well, that's why if your feet are here, that was the game that was played for years, that you would come over from Korea, particularly other places, and your baby was born here. Or they wanted to cross the border and have the baby, and then they became anchor babies.
Absolutely.
And if so, yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say there are all kinds of different ways. Trump's mother was born in Scotland.
Yes, that's right.
So, we all got here. We are truly a nation of immigrants. And sometimes there was a formal process, and sometimes we just showed up.
And there were times that they shut immigration off.
Absolutely.
Yeah, after the First World War, they did it. But the gates were open, and that was what happened in the famine and what happened. I mean, there's all kinds of waves of people that came. Yeah, sure.
Exactly. So we need to agree on who's an American citizen, because it looks like it might be changing. And when I hear that some people are illegal and some of us are American citizens, I am reminded that someplace in all of our histories, we had parents who came here in ways that now are illegal.
Sure, absolutely.
Okay, so the other thing I wanted to say was I wanted to thank you. I've listened to you for many, many years. Sometimes I agreed with you, but I always learned. And you have a certain standard. You always you don't let people go back on a caller.
No.
And you usually thank people. So I wanted to thank you.
Oh, man.
And I don't know. I'm going to try not to be calling anymore, simply because, not that I don't have any reason to think that I'm not going to be around, but I've got it. I can't be addicted to calling talk radio. But I wanted to thank you, and I hope that you're around for a long time.
Well, that's so kind of you. But or call me sometime, like off air. Leave a number, and I'll call you when the show's over.
Okay.
You've been a caller since BZ. I mean, hey,
Yeah.
I'm trying to write all that stuff, and because if
You're
go
you're-
ahead.
you're part of the history of Denver.
Well, the what happened with talk radio when when you go back and
I know.
the guys that did it early that held the receiver up to the microphone and nobody got into big wars, and then when KWBZ was invented by Corky Cartwright and those guys, and it was a daytime 5,000 watt. I mean, it was a tin can, but it was to steal from Saddam, it was the mother of all talk radio.
Yes.
And you were much a part of that. And there were so many people that, and now, talk radio is what it is now. And it's been injured. It's really been wounded. And
You use the term corporate.
yeah, well, that certainly was when we first started doing talk. There wasn't even a delay. I mean, we were working without a net, and
Yeah.
you had to learn. And we didn't have anybody to teach us. We cowboyed it. I think Berg probably had the edge on how to do it, but there were other guys. And then when Rosen came in, but we were cowboying the job, and now there's you can understand there's more to it. There's a lot of people won't listen to how to do it, but there is a way to do it. And when Limbaugh hit and those guys hit, that changed everything. Yeah. But you call and leave a number and say you want to call Marie. I'll call you back. All right.
Okay. You take care.
Right.
And again,
You
thank
too,
you.
lady. Take
Thanks.
care.
Bye.
Bye. All right. Let's go here. This is Pete. Pete in Palmer Lake. Thank you, and you're on the show. And good morning.
Morning, sir.
Hey, Bubba.
I'm 30-year police officer here, and I'd like to disagree with you respectfully on
Sure.
the legality of the shooting.
Sure.
I'm hearing a lot of people say, well, that officer positioned himself wrong, and we don't know that. As a police officer, you're trained tactically to put yourself in a position where you're not jeopardizing innocent civilians and where you're able to get the best shot off without harming other people in the backdrop. Let's look at the facts here. The facts is that this officer positioned himself in front of the vehicle while the vehicle is moving in reverse. Okay? The vehicle then abruptly stops and abruptly accelerates towards him. Okay? Let's also look at the fact that this guy got 3 shots off and they did what he intended those shots to do, to neutralize and kill the driver who was acting, in my opinion, with deadly force. She was given legal and lawful orders to stop. You had one officer that reached into the car, I would presume to take the keys out of the ignition. What we do know is prior to this that these people were acting in ways that they were blocking traffic and, to me, maybe trying to set these officers up for something worse. I'm tired of the Monday morning quarterback on, well, this officer has a split-second decision to make a choice. Is he supposed to get hit? Is he supposed to let this car go into a crowd and drive abruptly on icy streets? Let's give this guy the benefit of the doubt and say maybe he did a great job by positioning himself in front of the vehicle to take shots that had the intended consequence to stop this lady.
All right, Pete. So, and again, well said. I've watched these, I don't know how many different available videos there are. And now we listen now to the verbiage. And the verbiage is, you can tell they're there for the third time, to pimp with the ICE agents. They're there as demonstrators. They came in that SUV. Her wife gets out with a camera and starts calling the guy big boy. Have you seen that tape? Have you watched that?
Yeah,
one?
absolutely.
And they're gooning. They're gooning the ICE agents. But he sees her, round face. I mean, that's to me. I mean, and again, I wasn't there, and you're absolutely right about Monday morning quarterbacking. The two side shots. The first round, okay. I don't know, man. When he starts shooting through the doors, I don't know. Like I wasn't there, and
let me ask you a question.
Sure.
Pete. Was he justified in using deadly force?
I don't know. I mean,
You don't. So the car's coming at him.
Well,
he's given legal, lawful orders.
He puts himself.
He puts himself in a situation to neutralize what we perceive as a deadly force situation.
I see those.
Now you're saying, well, why did he put himself in front of the vehicle? Well, maybe to protect and to get a better shot.
Well, yeah, I agree. You see the street, you can see all this stuff. Look, I'm the guy that's defending the cops wearing masks. I'm the guy that's defending all of that. But and apparently he'd been through another incident where he had been dragged. I mean, they're amped up, and you're a cop. I mean, you know the drill, and everybody's on edge. And I think that if Trump wasn't president, none of this would be happening.
Well, I agree with you 100%, Pete. And I agree with you 100%. This is not an anti-ICE operation.
No.
It's an anti-Trump operation.
Yes.
Here's what America needs to ask. They need to ask the left, the Democrats, the progressives, what laws? Give us a list of the laws that we're not going to enforce, and give us the list of laws we will enforce. And let's see how society goes, because that's what they want.
But it's interesting, and I was thinking about it last night, trying to plan the show out and what positions, and I usually come up with my position driving to work after reading all week. But, all this, everything's taking place inside of Minneapolis with the unbelievable corruption with the Somalis and with the governor. And I watched this mayor. He's making his bones. He's doing the Bobby Kennedy, not the one that's with Trump, but the original one. Everybody's play acting right now in who can be the most offended. And I understand that, because they're grabbing for the microphone, they're grabbing for the spotlight. And it's really about getting rid of Donald Trump. And I watched Donald Trump in Venezuela, and I'm very doubtful that they'll be able to pull that off, but I'll be surprised. But that's really what's taking place. I mean, across the country, thousands of demonstrations are taking place. Do you think that's really about this ICE agent shooting that woman? Because I don't.
No. Here's the question. Is what happens when the other side shows up? Because I think the other side, the conservative side, has had enough. And what happens when you have millions of, let's say, well-trained, well-armed, and people who've had enough? What happens? And I'm not advocating for that. It's a question that needs to be asked.
Yeah.
Because you know what? January 6th was buffoonery. There were a lot of idiots in the crowd.
Oh.
But that's not what it's going to be about.
No.
When the average Joe sits back and says, you know what, I'm working 60 hours a week to take care of people in this country, and they get better health care than I do.
Sure.
What happens when this guy goes, I've had enough?
Well, when men revolt, and why, and I had this conversation yesterday with a friend. When I was in grad school, and this book was a reader. It was different people, different historians talked about revolt, and actually we're in many ways talking about that in the Venezuelan issue and how many governments the U.S. has been involved with in overthrows. But men revolt not on their backs; they revolt on their knees. And if you look for revolutions, when a man gets to his knees, he wants to stand. When he's on his back, that's where the dictators and the oppressors want to keep the guy on his back. When he gets to his knees, watch out. So, well, I don't know if we're seeing that and Donald Trump is to many of these Americans, he is the illustration of getting to your knees.
And to me, the left is the illustration of the useful idiots, as Lenin would say.
But no, they are. I mean, it is. You watch this, and I'll tell you what's going to be the canary in the mine shaft. Watch New York City. Now you have a collectivist mayor. Watch that. It's
Pete, you've said it. Here's
real quick,
what's going to happen.
I got about 20 seconds.
You're going to see that place financially implode.
See what happens.
Watch.
They're nailing the millionaires. Take care. Good call. Thank you, everybody. We got to do a turnaround. 45 will be the high and sunny. 55 tomorrow. Coming in studio, Dr. Brian June Depp and Ellen Graham. 710 KNUS. We got full lines. It's a Saturday, the January 10th edition. 710 KNUS. Peter Boyle's on the air everywhere. The weather's warming up. I'll read you this real quick. Peter, these ICE agents, that's what they're calling cops, are not actually cops. They're poorly trained guys who have jumped at the chance to get a $50,000 bonus for signing up. They jumped at the chance to put on the uniform, the costume, and terrorize and menace the masses in their newfound authority, guns a-blazing. I think there may be some part of that holds up. 710 KNUS. Tell you about Danny Kaplis. Dan's my guy. Kaplis is an attorney. Danny suggests you choose a lawyer who shares your values, because who you choose to represent you in an injury case says a lot about who you are and everybody that's involved. Dan's, of course, his dad was a cop. We talk about his mom, won the golf scholarship, came here to undergrad at CU, was involved in the politics at CU. He is a good man. He came to the rescue for my family, believed to be the only lawyer in Colorado history to win 5 straight multi-million-dollar verdicts in Colorado crash cases. He has won the largest truck crash verdict in Colorado history. He's just a good guy. Danny's law firm, the official firm now of the Denver Nuggets and Colorado Avalanche and the Kaplis Law, serious firm for serious cases. Danny, again, accepts righteous injury cases on a percentage fee basis so he can represent everybody, all walks of life, without regard of ability to pay. If you need his help, you need an answer, 303-770-5551. Call Kaplis Law. Danny's last name is Caplis, Kaplis Law, dankaplis.com. It's Dan, Caplis. Please, if you just need a question answered, 303-770-5551. Let's go here. Greg in Lakewood, you waited a long time. Appreciate it. Good morning. Thank you.
Peter, the great one-eyed king.
I dread that one. Go ahead.
You were talking earlier about American influence and expansionism in Central and South America.
Yes.
I've been juxtaposing Theodore Roosevelt with our president, Trump, and looking at the similarities as to how this is all going down. You know, the Panama Canal never would have been built if we didn't jump in and save the French from themselves. You know, their attempt just about bankrupted the country. So instead of trying to do business with Colombia, who didn't want to do business with us, you know, Teddy put a gunboat out there by Bogota and said, are you going to do business with us or not?
That's right.
And, you know, consequently, and we strategically, that was incredibly important at the time, even though it was the turn of the century.
Yes.
Eventually, that would help us win the war, the second war.
Oh, but Panama was created.
That's right. It was part of Colombia.
That's absolutely right. There was, and it tagged into Nicaragua.
Well, you know, and so the term gunboat diplomacy came from that time when Teddy put that gunboat out there and said, are you going to do business with us or not?
Remember, they had the Great White Fleet that Teddy Roosevelt muscled the world, showed the world muscle. And then, of course, gunboat diplomacy, and they did that in China. They had the Pan A. Remember the story of the Pan A? The Japanese bombed the Pan A. No, I mean, TR bought the treaty, but they created Panama, and as you point out, then the Panama Canal, the French had flopped, and it was all because of the mosquitoes. The mosquitoes were killing people.
That's right. That's right. And you know,
Walter Reed does what he does. No, you're absolutely right.
And Ted and President Roosevelt said something that really makes me juxtapose this whole thing. He said, "I did this thing in Panama Canal so that they would debate me and not the canal."
Yeah.
And I think that, boy, does that sound like President Trump or what?
Well, what I'm watching is a continuation of Latin and Caribbean, they call it the Caribbean Basin, but the U.S. has been involved in numerous government overthrows and supporting of, we talked about Iran, enough about that, but the Pinochet in Chile, which I think is perhaps more comparable in 73 when they overthrow, and remember, the election takes place, Allende is elected, he's a Marxist, but he's elected, and he nationalizes all the Anaconda stuff. So,
That's right. Stop her.
Yeah, so what does Richard Nixon do?
Well, the next thing that I am looking really closely at is Donald trying to buy Greenland.
I'm watching that. One way or the other, we're going to get Greenland, right?
No, it's a national security issue. The world is getting smaller, and we need that corner of the world to, cover our butts. But there's also some rare earth minerals there, son. I'm telling you, everything seems to lead in the same direction.
The problem is, and I thought about it, with all the capacities and technologies of a war. There was when FDR was brokering with the British, and we got Bermuda, we got places in Iceland. We got places to put American installations, Black Cats, everything that happened, and so that was part of Lend-Lease. And Churchill gives it up. Not gives it up. He knows that he has to do it because he's going to help save his own empire. And so we got our foot in the door, and still do. I mean, I got friends that were AFART's disc jockeys, and they worked those places. They told them, a woman behind every tree.
That's right.
But there was no trees. But if we go back to Cuba, Guatemala, the Dominican Republic, Nicaragua, Haiti, Grenada, Bolivia, I mean, we have Chile was the last real big one. We've been involved overthrowing their governments, so we can protect what we say is ours. Is the oil?
Panama?
Yeah.
Go ahead. I was going to say, don't you think that Panama is in play again? I mean, you've got the rhetoric is Trump hates the Colombian president. He's taken over Venezuela.
Yeah.
Man, it just seems like a natural progression that that whole part of the country becomes Donald land or something.
But the one overthrow that seemed to have worked was getting rid of Noriega and allowing for free and open elections in Panama. And when Jimmy Carter gave him, and I was doing talk radio, when Jimmy Carter gave him back the canal, it was like people acted like Jimmy Carter killed their dog. And it's theirs. I mean, it's not ours. It's theirs. That canal goes through their country. We created their country. We gifted them their country. We had Torrijos. Torrijos dies in a plane crash that a lot of people believe that Noriega set. Noriega is the dictator. I was in Panama. I've been in Panama like 5 times. I was there the summer before they got rid of Noriega, and they called them the something squads, the honor squads, and they were going around, like they were clubbing people. There was no newspapers, and they moved on Noriega. Was it the right thing? Remember, it was Herbert Walker Bush who created Noriega. He was a CIA guy, except he became Pablo Escobar's guy. And
let me ask one more question.
Yeah, real quick.
I know how much you and your grandson have enjoyed watching the Broncos over the years. How much are you and he enjoying this season?
He's a Buffalo Bills fan. He is. He's a Bills. No, it's like talking to a guy when you talk sports to him. I told Dave Logan, talking to Dave Logan, I said, he had to come into the show with Dave. He really is like talking to a guy about sports, but he's a Bills fan, believe it or not. So I let it go.
They're coming. The road
I know
to the Super Bowl comes through Denver.
They're coming here. He knows it. Good luck with that. Thanks, brother. Hang on, everybody. 710 KNUS.